David established his kingdom and defended it from all the nations that were round about, till finally there was peace in the land. At that time, David started thinking about building the temple of God. He called in the prophet and said, I live in a beautiful palace, yet the ark of God is in a tent. The prophet agreed and said, you may build the temple of God and he will be pleased. But that night, God gave the prophet a message for David. The Lord said, you were following sheep when I made you king of Israel. I have been with you, and I have given you victory over all your enemies. Now I will establish your name among the names of all the great men who will ever live. And your royal family line will have no end. Still, I will not allow you to build my house. I have made you a man of war. Many people have died because of you. Your son will be a man of peace. He will build my house, and I will be a father to him, and I will establish his kingdom. David was content when he heard this, and he humbled himself before the Lord. He then focused on the nations that were around about him. First, he invaded the Philistines, took back some of the cities that they had taken from Israel years before. He turned on the Moabites and the Edomites, made them subject to Israel, and they became his servants. At that point, he turned his army and invaded the north. He conquered nation after nation. Jerusalem became prosperous during this time as gold and silver, bronze and horses flowed into the city. David set up garrisons in each of the cities, in each of the countries to maintain control. He took the men of those countries and had them serve in his army. David honored the Lord and all that he got from these countries. Then he ruled them with justice, and he taught them righteousness. One day, David said to his servants, are there any descendants of King Saul? I want to show kindness like Jonathan showed to me. Zibed, one of the servants, said, there is one son of Jonathan, a man by the name of Mephibosheth. He told him how when Mephibosheth's nurse heard about the death of King Saul and Jonathan, she ran from the city carrying the 5-year-old boy on her shoulders. She fell, and the boy fell to the ground and crushed both feet, and he had been lame ever since. David said, call him in here. When Mephibosheth came to the king, he bowed himself low before the king and said, I am a servant of yours. David said, don't be afraid. I'm going to return to you the kindness that your father gave to me. I'm going to give you all the fields that belong to King Saul. From now on, you'll live in Jerusalem, and you will eat at my table. Mephibosheth fell to the ground once again and said, I am nothing but a dead dog. Why would you show kindness to me? David turned to Ziba and said, from now on, you and your sons will work the fields that I just gave to Mephibosheth. From now on, you are his servants. So Mephibosheth lived in Jerusalem, and he ate at David's table, and in time he became just like one of his sons.